If you had told me 10 years ago, like even 6 years ago, that I would call myself a habit person, I would think you were totally crazy. Because for years, I thought habits was synonymous with perfection. And obviously, I knew that being perfect was something I could not be. But it was also something I didn't really want to be either. And in my pursuit of trying to not ride that all or nothing roller coaster wave of perfectionism, I also avoided habits because I thought that's for someone else. That's for a type A, diligent, super willpower kind of person. And that's not me anymore. And maybe it's not who I will ever be. I started About Progress more out of a pursuit for me to figure out who I was again outside of perfectionism. And while I did that, thanks to my original Do Something list, helped me explore who I am. A few years into this experiment of choosing progress over perfection, I hit a surprising plateau. And it wasn't that I didn't know who I was again. I was better than I had ever been in that area of my life. That was very clear for me. I knew better than ever who I was, what mattered to me, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I valued, what I needed in my life, and things that would help me feel like myself. So it wasn't that I didn't know myself. It was that that self wasn't being supported in my day-to-day life. This was very apparent to me thanks to sleep, especially. I don't know if you've heard this story before, but I'll quickly share it. When I was pregnant with my fourth child, my dear friend and amazing photographer, Bailey Van Wagner, she took our family's photos and they were beautiful. I loved them and I still cherish them to this day. A year later, we took family photos again. Our baby by that point was six-ish months old, I believe, 7 months old. And I was so excited to get pictures as a family, especially given all that my baby had been through. He'd been through some pretty hard things with his health, and he was doing well now. And when I got those pictures back, they were also beautiful, and I treasured them, and I still do to this day. But there was something so glaringly different between those two sets of family photos. And it was that I looked many, many, many years older within just that 1 year span of time. And I knew it wasn't the baby's fault. He was sleeping just fine. The real problem was me. I did not have the supportive habits I needed in order to be someone who was actually sleeping regularly well. So I guess you could say vanity was one of the reasons that I decided I needed to figure out this whole habit thing. Fast forward now over 7 years later, and I can tell you that I am a habit person. And it's not because I believe habits help me be perfect. It's because habits help me be myself. Because myself is supported in my day-to-day life by the way I treat myself, by the way I prioritize myself and take care of myself, I'm able to show up as that self to my responsibilities, to my people, to my work, to my home. If you feel that you tend to think of habits as balls and chains, that maybe you are subservient to your habits, I want to offer you a quick analogy that may help you change the way you view habits and, in doing so, change the way you could potentially see yourself as a habit person. We easily think of habits as almost prisons, right? Things that are keeping us bound by their prescriptions, by the maxims we have to meet. And since those are so clearly defined, we are stuck behind them. Instead, what if you were to think of habits as a net? A net that not only lifts you up and supports you, but also catches you when you fall, that it enables you to be yourself. That's an analogy I came up with when interviewing Jess Massey about day planning, a habit that I've definitely loved to get back into. But it applies to all habits in general. Habits are not prisons, they are nets. So, in that spirit, I want to share with you 5 habits that are helping me show up right now in the season I am in. And some of these habits may be more stereotypical in terms of they're more productivity based, but others are less traditional. They're more about fun and creativity and bringing back in some margins to my life. And in sharing about mine, I hope that it can give you the boost to reconsider how habits can act as a net to your life, and how habits can support you to be the person you both need and want to be, and that maybe that includes you being a habit person.